Tonight, we are slipping into our most uncomfortable clothes and walking willingly into one of the most terrifying social arenas in human history. The Victorian dinner party, not the warm candlelit fantasy from your favorite period drama where everyone is charming. The wine flows freely, and the worst thing that happens is a longing glance across the table. No, I mean the real thing. A 4-hour ordeal of 40 pieces of silverware. A corset quietly relocating your internal organs. And roughly 900 unspoken rules, any one of which you can break and instantly become the scandal of the season. It is like a job interview, a wedding, and a minefield, all served on fine china. Now, dim the lights, switch on a fan for that soft background. Get comfortable, and maybe loosen your own belt a notch in solidarity with what is coming. Let us pause for a moment and wonder a few things. Have you ever sat at a work dinner, staring at 3 forks, quietly sweating about which one is actually yours? Have you ever smiled through an entire evening while an outfit slowly tried to murder you? Have you ever been trapped beside someone at a table for 2 hours with no exit route and no phone to hide behind? Could you survive a meal where chewing too loudly might end your family's reputation? Would you last a single night with nothing to protect you but your posture and the merciless judgment of strangers in expensive gloves? And now, congratulations! A stiff cream-colored cod has just arrived on a silver tray. The year is 1874. You have been invited to dinner, and refusing is not really an option. May the cutlery have mercy on your soul. Let us start where every Victorian nightmare begins, with a polite little piece of paper. The invitation arrives on a silver tray, written in elegant looping handwriting on thick cream card, and it looks perfectly harmless. It is not. This card is a summons, a test, and a trap all at once. And the moment it touches your fingers, the rules quietly switch on. You have a narrow window to reply. You must reply in the third person, in precisely the same formal style, and you must not make a single error because a clumsy response tells the entire household exactly what they suspected, that you are, to put it gently, not quite the right thought. The invitation is not just an offer of food. It is a verdict. Someone, somewhere, sat down with a list and decided you were worth feeding. That sounds flattering until you realize the same list is a ranking, and your name's position on it tells the whole secretary exactly how much trouble to take over you. Arrive on the list at all, and you have passed an audit you never knew you were sitting. The card itself is engineered to intimidate. The paper is heavy enough to feel expensive. The ink is flawless, and the phrasing is so stiff and ceremonial that it reads less like a friendly note and more like a court summons with better manners. You hold this little rectangle of doom and feel the weight of everything it implies. You will need a free evening. You will need the correct clothes, which you may not own. You will need to remember which fork does what, which you may not own. You will need to remember which fork does what, which you definitely do not. And you will need to spend the next several days quiet. It is the 1870s equivalent of seeing. We need to talk arrive with no further context, except it is printed on cardstock and delivered by a servant who waits to see your reaction. Key here is a cruel little detail. Here, too, the invitation usually arrives with only a week or two of warning, sometimes less, which feels generous until you remember how long it takes to prepare. There are no quick fixes in this world. You cannot simply order something to wear or rinse off and show up. Everything must be arranged, fitted, cleaned, and rehearsed. That short notice is not carelessness. It is a quiet flex. Proper people are assumed to be ready for anything at any moment, with the wardrobe and the manners already in place. If you are scrambling, well, that is rather the point, and refusing, technically possible, socially catastrophic, a declined invitation, unless backed by genuine illness or a death in the family, is read as a snub, and snubs are remembered with the tenderness of a grudge passed down through generations. You do not turn down dinner, you survive it, so you sit there, card in hand. The faint smell of expensive ink in the air, your stomach already sinking, and you understand that your evening, your week, and possibly your social standing now hinge on how well you eat soup in front of strangers. You set the invitation down carefully, as though it might bite. In a sense, it already has, somewhere across town. A hostess is reviewing her seating plan, a cook is sharpening her ambitions, and a small army of servants is preparing to watch you fail in real time. You have not even replied yet, and you are already losing. Welcome to the Victorian dinner party, where the suffering begins the moment the paper touches your palm. So, you have decided to accept, which was never truly optional. And now you face the second hurdle. Writing back. You would think saying, yes, I will be there, would be simple. You would be wrong. There is a correct grammar to gratitude here. A rigid little dance of Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so requested a pleasure, answered by, have much pleasure in accepting, all written as though you are referring to two other people entirely. Get the wording right, and you are invisible, which is the goal. Get it wrong, and your card becomes a quiet item of gossip, passed between housekeepers. The third-person business alone is enough to break a sweat. You do not write, I would love to come. You write about yourself as though you are a distant acquaintance you barely know, referring to Mr. Such and Such, accepting the cant invitation of your hosts, and you must mirror the exact tone of the card you received. It is like being asked to reply to an email by composing a formal legal document about a stranger who happens to share your name. One straight casual phrase, one warm little flourish that slips into the wrong register, and you have revealed that you do not quite know the steps. Timing matters as much as wording. You reply promptly, ideally within a day, because dithering suggests you are weighing better offers, which is unthinkable. But you also do not fire back a response so instantly that you seem desperate, like the person who replies to a text before the screen has finished lighting up. T here is a sweet spot of attentive, but dignified, and you are expected to find it without anyone ever telling you it exists. Everyone simply knows, and you are simply assumed to know, and the not knowing is the very thing that exposes you.